You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Moon Day. I'm so grateful you are here with me, and I'm so excited because we're taking the show on the road. This is the first time that I'm streaming outside of my little home studio. So we are on a little road trip, the holidays, getting ready to go see some family. And this was kind of the vision behind the show, to be able to work from anywhere and bring you today's transits from anywhere. So I'm posted up in front of the Christmas tree at my family's house, and lots to talk about this morning as we look ahead to Christmas, to the end of the week, and most importantly, to Capricorn season and the winter solstice, which starts tomorrow. So, this is the last day of Sagittarius season, the last day of fall, kind of the end of this period of time. And now we're looking ahead to Christmas. We're looking ahead to the new year. Lots of energy shifts coming this week. Good morning, Dan. Thank you for being with me. Let me know if the sound quality is okay. I'm using my AirPods here. So as you're coming into the live stream, let me know if there are any technical difficulties or anything like that, because like I said, first time doing this. So still working out the kinks and learning as I go. And I'm so grateful that you're all along the journey with me. Okay, so let's talk about what's coming up this week, kind of give you a look ahead, and then we'll dive into today's transits. We don't have anything major today, just one connection between Mercury and Uranus, a nice harmony between Mercury and Uranus. So I think it's going to be a really nice day when it comes to the astrology. And really this week too, we do have Saturn square Uranus going on. We talked about this a lot last week. But that square has been playing out over the last week. It will play out through the end of the year. So that could bring some tension, and that goes exact on the 23rd, but we're already feeling it. So that's kind of the only major thing that's like, okay, you might be experiencing some tension right now. Give me something good for the last day of Sag season. We have some good energy in store. And tell James that it's the last day of his season. Like, he's got to fully take advantage of this, make sure he's enjoying the outdoors, getting his exploration in before it gets too cold up there in Portland for you guys. Thank you, Michael. Yes, we're getting festive today. We'll see what the sun does. It's kind of starting to creep in on me, so I might have to change the lighting throughout this. But yeah, this is all an experiment. So here we are with me. Okay, let me pull up what's going on throughout the week with the moon, with the planets, give you a this week. You can Okay, hello. I told you, we're working on this. We've got connection issues. So yeah, let me know if it's late or anything like that. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this, we're streaming from a new place today, so it's all flexible. We're figuring it out as we go. Thank you so much, Crystal. Thanks for being here. Got the tree behind us. I did not put up this tree. This is my family member's house, so I can't take credit for the background. So Mercury trine Uranus today. We'll dive into that in a second. Tomorrow, Capricorn season starts. The winter solstice is tomorrow, so winter officially begins. It's the darkest day of the year, the longest night of the year on winter solstice. And then on Wednesday, the North Node actually finally moves into Taurus. It's really been hanging around that 0 degree mark. You can see it here in Gemini. So it's going to move. The North Node is or both the nodes move back into Taurus. And this plays on that theme we were talking about during eclipse season. That eclipse last month in Taurus was the first on this axis. So when the nodes shift, we'll experience a shift in direction, and we're kind of leaning into the energy of the next eclipse season starting on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, that square between Saturn and Uranus that we've been talking about for the past week, that becomes exact. So that energy will be the most potent on Thursday and Friday. Really, you'll feel this on Christmas Eve because at least here on the West Coast, it goes exact really late on Thursday night. So expect that energy to be strong energy on Christmas Eve. Saturday for Christmas, that conjunction between Venus and Pluto that happened about 2 weeks ago becomes exact again because Venus just went retrograde. We talked a bunch about that last week. And then on Sunday, Mercury forms a sextile to Neptune. So that's going to be a nice transit to end out Christmas celebrations next Sunday. Definitely a dreamy vibe. We'll be in that fantastical mindset. Might be nice to just sit back and watch a fantasy movie or something like that on Sunday. So that's what's coming up. Let's talk about today, though. And you know what? I'm going to shift here because the light is changing. So you guys, this is like real time. This is me figuring out where the light's going. The sun's coming up. I'm in San Diego right now. Can't complain about that one bit. Okay, let's look at today's chart and see what's going on. So we do have this trine, this harmonious angle between Mercury, the planet of communication, and Uranus, the planet of change and transformation. And this could bring a lot of mental stimulation on this Monday. This angle brings good fortune. These energies work together really nicely. Both Mercury and Uranus are in earth signs. So Mercury in Capricorn tends to make our thoughts and words a little bit more practical. We think very rationally. We're all about reason with Mercury in Capricorn, all about being able to explain the why behind things. Uranus and Taurus, which, we've talked a little bit about this, especially with this square between Uranus and Saturn. Uranus and Taurus is all about changes to the earth, changes to our physical environment. But when these two energies mash up with one another or flow with one another in this harmonious angle, it can really make us think about the future, and specifically our future when it comes to long-term goals, when it comes to our wealth, our investments, to our physical surroundings, the earth around us, quite literally. So our focus today will be on those long-term visions or ideas, as Uranus is the visionary planet. And we'll probably enjoy being around kind of eccentric people today or learning new information, especially when it comes to technology, when it comes to money, when it comes to the state of the world. Really interesting, actually, because my partner is really into cryptocurrency and NFTs, but there are a few different projects going public today. And I think that's really perfect for this energy. It's a great analogy for this energy because Mercury is in Capricorn, the sign of, investing in long-term wealth. And people are going to be talking about these new projects coming online in the cryptocurrency world. And then Uranus and Taurus is kind of like that technology aspect, but also that money aspect, because we know our Taurus friends, they love the money. So you might be just drawn to learning new information about technology or money. And I would say intuitive downloads are definitely possible under this transit. Even though both Mercury and Uranus are in earth signs and not necessarily the most connected emotionally or intuitively, Uranus definitely brings in that intuition piece, and Mercury rules our thoughts. So you might have some surprising or random ideas come in with this Uranus influence, and they could be groundbreaking or innovative ideas. So you'll be thinking about the future, thinking about technology, and who knows, maybe you'll have your $1,000,000 idea today with this trine between Mercury and Uranus, because like I said, trines are known to bring good fortune. So that's the only major connection that happens today. But let's talk about what's going on with the moon in Cancer and its home sign of Cancer. We love a Cancer moon. And did you guys see the full moon over the weekend in Gemini? I caught it rising over LA on our drive down here, which was so beautiful. And this full moon was just, I don't know, I just loved the energy. Maybe it's because I'm on vacation, but I think it was a fun energy with this Gemini full moon over the weekend. Yes, $1,000,000 idea day. I don't know if you caught it, Julian, but I was just talking about ballers going public and how that is really in line with the transits today. So the moon was sensational. Oh, it was still out this morning. It still looks full, but it is now waning. So it's now in full-on release mode when it comes to the moon phases. The full moon is kind of that culmination point, inviting us to release as we head back towards the new moon. And what's cool about this with the timing this year is that the new moon is on January 2nd. So the next 2 weeks are really a great time to release, let go, get ready so you have a clean slate for 2022. And specifically today, while the moon is still in Cancer, Cancer really has us focus on our home, rules the home, rules the divine feminine. And so you might want to just release through decluttering your home, decluttering your physical space. That can be a great ritual for release. And it could be a time to release emotions as well. Cancer is a very emotional, nurturing energy. And so, today, as the waning moon is in Cancer, still looking very full, definitely in the peak of its release. You can almost, I almost see the moon as like this cup, right? And as it's building, as it's waxing from the new moon to the full moon, we're filling up the cup. We're seeing more light on the moon every night. Then after the full moon, it's like we're dumping out a little bit of that water, that light every day. So we're in that release mode, and you can kind of think with the moon in Cancer, a water sign, we're just kind of pouring out some of the water, pouring out some of the emotions. So if you're feeling emotional today, release, let it out. This is your time to release for sure. Not only can you kind of declutter or release in your physical space, in your emotions, but you can reassess also how much you're nurturing other people and how much you're nurturing yourself. This is really a great opportunity to shed anything that's holding you back from your highest potential next year. And the sign of the crab, Cancer, we think a lot about the shell, right? And crabs, they outgrow their shells and they go find new shells. So you can almost think of that analogy. Maybe it's time to shed the shell that you have been wearing, that you've been living in, and find a new one in 2022. So really think about that. The moon stays mostly quiet today, but it's interesting. This morning, that's literally my plan, declutter and chill. And so perfect for you, Jenny, with your Cancer moon. You're having your lunar return, so don't be surprised if those emotions creep in. But you're right in your energy as a Cancer and Cancer moon. So this is something we don't talk about very often. Vesta. It's an asteroid. I believe it's between Mars and Jupiter in an asteroid belt. And I don't focus a ton on asteroids because, they're not major bodies. We talk a lot about Chiron, which is also an asteroid. But because the moon isn't making a whole lot of connections today, let's see. We're not even, oh no, we're on the right day. Sorry. The moon did form, I should say, a conjunction to Vesta, I believe at 5 a.m. So let's go back and see that. Of course now, I see. Okay, so the VX there. You can see it got I think it was maybe 4. But anyway, there you go. Vesta and the moon met up in the sky. What does that mean? I actually did a little research on Vesta because other than that, the moon only makes one other connection later tonight. So Vesta, I thought this would be a fun opportunity for a little lesson. Vesta was one of the 3 ancient virgin goddesses in Roman mythology. And it's really interesting because she highlights the part of virginity known as belonging to oneself. So it's not necessarily this like, purity, untouched aspect of virginity. It's more being sovereign and owning your own body. And Vesta is kind of known as that inner flame, our inner sexuality, but also that inner flame that connects us to spirituality, because sexuality and spirituality can definitely be a similar energy and can both connect us to a higher consciousness. So when the moon met up with Vesta early this morning, we could have been reminded of that inner flame, that inner spark within us, or we might have been reminded of what is most sacred to us, as Vesta is this sacred virginal, myth, this goddess. So I just thought that was interesting. I felt called to share what Vesta means with all of you. And I just love the idea of starting a Monday morning, sparking that inner flame, with the moon meeting up with Vesta, our emotions forming a conjunction to this internal spirituality we all have within us. And, when you talk about even the chakra system and the different points within your body, our sacral chakra, our creative center, is what really can help us manifest and connect to spirituality. So you can kind of think of that like your womb space, your creation center being activated when the Cancer moon joins up with Vesta. But Vesta jumps around quite a bit and moves quickly. So like I said, we don't talk about her very much. But today, like I said, I felt called to share that with you. Got to shed old skin in my cards today. Awesome. We're going to pull a card in just a second too. So maybe that will bring some more insight for you. Yeah. So yeah, ballers. So that is the crypto NFT project I was talking about going online today. If you're interested in NFTs and crypto, definitely look into it. It's going public apparently at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So definitely right on time with this trine between Uranus and Mercury, which goes exact at noon. Great example of that energy. Cryptocurrency, people talking about it, a buzz, something different, something eccentric, technology-based, all the things. Okay, so the last connection that the moon makes today is another trine. We have all these great angles today between the planets and the moon. So overall, Monday is like a really harmonious day when it comes to the moon trine Neptune, Mercury trine Uranus, and at 7 p.m. when the moon flows or forms this harmonious angle with Neptune, the planet of dreams, both of them in water signs, a very emotional energy. We could be a little bit more sensitive in general, emotionally. So don't be surprised if it feels like emotions are kind of just flowing through you. But also, intuition will be very much heightened with the moon flowing with Neptune. And this is a very imaginative transit as well. So our emotions can work really seamlessly with our imagination, with our fantasy. This could make it a beautiful time to make art or lean into a romantic vibe. If you are an artist, 7 p.m. or this evening would be an awesome time to just kind of let your creativity pour out of you, especially if you are feeling emotional. Neptune brings that creativity into it, and sometimes creativity can be a great way of releasing, especially since we were just talking about this phase of the moon kind of being at its peak releasing phase. Creativity is a great way to move that energy through you. And even if you're feeling more sentimental with Neptune and Pisces, making us a little bit lovey-dovey, flowing with this nice nurturing Cancer moon, expressing those sentiments, expressing your love to other people, expressing your feelings could have a really favorable outcome today. I think sometimes when we're feeling emotional, we hold back a little bit. We don't want to be too much for other people. But I think today, especially with the holidays nearby, telling people how much you love them, telling them how much you appreciate them can have a really favorable outcome. And, you know, this energy also with creativity in mind, if you're thinking about doing any handmade Christmas gifts or doing anything creative, or if you're like me and you like love to wrap presents and feel really creative doing that, tonight could be a really fun night for you to lean into that creativity, lean into that artistic part of yourself. The other thing that could happen with this transit, so Neptune is, you know, the sign of dreams, our sleep, our subconscious. That's why it can connect us to our intuition a little bit more easily, because we're connected to our subconscious. But the moon in Cancer makes us kind of feel cozy, homey, want to snuggle up a little bit. And Pisces, or Neptune and Pisces, I should say, when these two energies blend, this could look like an early bedtime as well. So if you're feeling more energy, definitely use that creativity, use your intuition. This could be a great time if you're looking for guidance to maybe do some meditation. Guidance could come through really easily under this transit. However, you could also just be really tired early on a Monday night. So don't be surprised if you're like, I want to be super creative and do all these things, and your body's just like, no, actually, we're just going to sleep tonight. That's all we're going to do. Because that is a byproduct when Neptune is involved. All right, so those are today's transits. A quick little look at you, at your aspects in the sky this morning. Now let's go ahead and pull a card. So we're going to pull from The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein, and we'll see what is coming through. While I shuffle, if you have any questions about your sign or the energy today, throw them in the comments. Let me know here on YouTube and Facebook how you're feeling, how that full moon was for you over the weekend. Did anything wild happen in your life? Were you partying under the full moon? Were you reflecting under the full moon? How did you use that energy? I'm really curious. And have you decorated for Christmas yet? Because like I said, the only reason I have a tree behind me right now is because somebody else put it up. I did not decorate this year. We're not even home for Christmas this year. So I was very lazy about Christmas. And we don't have any kids either. So, you know, kind of were Grinches at our own house. But luckily, everybody, all of our family members are a little bit more festive than we are. All right. What message do we need to hear today? When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. That's today's card. I can actually hold it up to the camera because I'm just using my laptop. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. Great message ahead of Christmas, really leaning into that joyful energy, the joy we all talk about around this season. And, you know, being in that energy, connecting to what makes us feel happy and feel really good helps us attract more of that good energy. So, you know, talking about these harmonious transits between the moon and Neptune, between Mercury and Uranus today, really helping us feel those good vibes. Lean into that energy. The more you're in that energy, the more you can attract that energy to you. So Monday should be a really nice day. There aren't any major conflicts other than that square between Uranus and Saturn that we're feeling through the end of the year that could bring some changes or some breakdowns, some shifts. But that energy becomes more potent later this week. So I really see this Monday as being a nice, enjoyable energy, not any chaos in the skies or anything like that. And really, I hope it brings you a beautiful start to your week. That's the power of the trine, this harmonious angle that we've been talking about. It really can bring this nice, flowing, beautiful energy into our lives. And especially with Mercury involved, with Neptune involved, I see a lot of people getting some intuitive downloads, maybe having some breakthrough thoughts that, you know, put you in a good energy ahead of the holidays. All right. Any last questions before I let you go? I love everybody talking about how they're going to use the releasing energy of this Cancer moon, especially before the moon moves into Leo tomorrow while the moon is in Cancer. And it will make several connections tomorrow morning before it moves into Leo. So really the next 24 hours are that time to release, let go. When the moon's in Leo, like I said, we get a little bit more active, more external, while the moon in Cancer right now is more internal. We're checking in with ourselves and really reflecting, releasing emotionally. Weather influences moods too, don't they? Well, yes, of course. I think the weather impacts all of our moods. Depends what kind of weather you like. Um, and, the full moon over the weekend, my aunts who I'm staying with, one of them used to work in a hospital, and she was saying that anytime she was at the hospital, patients would, more patients would be coming in during a full moon. She also worked in the mental ward of a hospital, the psychiatric ward, I should say, and patients would get a little bit more crazy during the full moon. So, the moon rules the tides all over the earth. It moves the water all over the earth. And in astrology, water energy represents our emotions. So when the moon is full, you can almost imagine it amplifying our emotions. So if you notice people being a little bit more emotional, or even just kind of things going a little crazy over the weekend, especially with that full moon in Gemini, more of a frantic energy with Gemini. Gemini is like a lot of movement, go, 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 socializing. When our emotions are heightened under that energy, things can get a little crazy. So if you have any wild full moon stories from over the weekend, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear them. But yes, the weather definitely influences all of our moods. I mean, even seasonal depression, like that's the easiest way to explain how the weather influences us. And that's important to remember with tomorrow being the winter solstice, the darkest night of the year, the longest day of darkness. It's when it almost seems like the sun stops for the next week until the new year, and daylight starts to come back again. So if you're someone who struggles with seasonal depression or feels a little bit more low when it's colder and darker, which is totally normal and natural, that could be coming up for you. But luckily, today's transit supports some nice, good energy. But that releasing, you could be feeling that as well with the releasing energy after the full moon and the moon in Cancer, depending on where your moon is and where Cancer is in your chart, it could activate your emotions a little bit. So just beware of that. And, one more thing I do want to share before I go. I was talking with my aunts about this live stream and just explaining my idea behind it and my mission behind it and all of that. And one of my aunts, Nancy, she was saying, like, I totally get the transits and I get the science behind it, but I don't understand the card pull. And I really wanted to share this with you today if you are in the same boat, because she's like, I get it. The transits, the planets are making these connections and it's this degree and it's this and it's very scientific. And, she's actually a Cancer. So, she definitely, but she's very practical as well. But then she's like, I don't get like the card pull. There's no science behind the card pull. And my response was, yes, you're totally right. The card pull is all God. The card pull is all spirit. It's all the universe. Like, we talk about the science, we talk about the transits, we talk about the connections and the energy. And then this card pull is our opportunity if we missed something or if there's a message that needs to come through that we didn't get to. This is the collective message. So if anybody was wondering, like, I get the transits, but I don't get the card pull. This is all spirit. And today, spirit wants us to know when I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. So on that note too, yes, that's the spirit connecting us all today. Absolutely, Jenny. And just a reminder to be joyful, connect to that joyful presence in your heart today. And if you're trying to manifest, or if you're just, trying to release, trying to let go of something, joy can be a great way to shift your energy. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you are in the same boat and wondering, okay, what does the card pull mean? Why are we doing that? Just a little more guidance for you all. So thank you so much for joining me here in beautiful San Diego, my first show on the road today. I appreciate you being here. We'll be back on the road, another show tomorrow, and we'll also have an episode of The Spiritual Journalist streaming live tomorrow at 11 a.m. as well. We're talking all about what the concept of a starseed is. This has come up a few times throughout my shows where I pull from the Starseed Oracle deck, or I tell people, oh, like, look up what a starseed is. But We're going to have an expert on the matter on tomorrow to explain what a starseed is. If you're someone who feels like you're an alien or you don't really belong here, you're a little bit different than everybody else, hey, you might identify as a starseed. So we're going to be talking with Marissa all about that tomorrow. And then, of course, we'll have transits today all week, guiding you through the energy, getting you in the right mindset ahead of all of your holiday activities with friends and family. If you're someone who's feeling a little overwhelmed this year, definitely tune in throughout the week so you can just align and tune into the energy. Thank you so much, Danny. I'm glad it didn't glitch or there weren't too many technical difficulties, just that one time that the stream dropped out, just relying on Wi-Fi here. And thanks for hanging with me. I appreciate it. It's always fun starting my week and starting my day with you guys. So I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope that all of these harmonious angles in the sky treat you wonderfully this morning. And I hope you join me again tomorrow. I'll be in another state. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going. I think it's more fun this way to just, you can just pop on and see where I am. But yeah, we'll be back with another show on the road tomorrow. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.